Good morning. It's 9:29. I'm Todd Matthews, and it's at this point on Wednesdays for the longest time now, over a decade, we've presented Ask the Lawyer with Bruce L. Scheiner, answering questions most often submitted by you, questions about the law. Got another one sitting in front of us today. First, I'd like to have you welcome my friend Bruce L. Scheiner to the broadcast. Bruce, how are you?
Hey, good morning, Todd. I'm doing great.
Good.
And I'm proud to be called your friend.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very nice to hear. And likewise, right back at you. This is your kind of day, too. Nice and sunshiny and pleasant and going to warm up nicely today, too.
Yeah, it couldn't be nicer.
Absolutely. I'm getting all the nice conversation in first because the rest of the conversation isn't so nice, and it hits a little close to home as a University of Florida alum and as somebody who actually was assistant manager at an apartment complex in Gainesville at one time. You'll see why I say that here in just a moment. Are you ready for the question?
I am ready, Todd.
Here's what the email says. My daughter, attending school in Gainesville, was sexually assaulted by a maintenance staff member at the apartment complex. It turns out that the maintenance person who was hired by the complex had a previous sexual assault conviction in Orlando 2 years earlier. The maintenance person had a master key and could access her apartment when her roommates were away over the weekend. My daughter is devastated and will need psychological therapy to deal with the trauma for a long time. We wanted to sue the apartment complex, but were unsure if hiring a lawyer in Gainesville was necessary. Can you ask the lawyer who we should contact? Shouldn't there be better laws to protect apartment renters? I think that one's rhetorical, obviously. There certainly shouldn't. There probably are laws in place, right?
Yeah, well, first of all, the most important thing is hiring an experienced personal injury lawyer. Mm-hmm. And a lawyer in Southwest Florida is perfectly capable of providing excellent representation.
Okay, good.
For this young lady. As far as the law being in place, it's interesting that in 2023, a law was passed just on this exact topic. Mm. It's called Maya's Law. Oh. Maya's Law was enacted in Florida after a girl named Maya tragically lost her life in her apartment. Mm. The law strengthened security requirements in rental housing to protect tenants, mm-hmm. focusing on preventing unauthorized access to apartment units.
Okay.
It mandates more thorough background checks on apartment staff, specifically screening for criminal histories and disqualifying applicants with certain convictions.
Okay.
The law also requires more secure procedures for key handling and access to apartment units, ensuring only authorized individuals can enter tenants' homes.
Okay.
The legislature aims to provide a safer living environment for renters by reducing the risk of crime and enhancing tenant privacy.
Okay.
So this law was enacted specifically to help people like her, and she has a very strong cause of action against the apartment complex.
Yeah, there's no way this should have happened, especially with Maya's Law in place, as you've plainly laid out. So the only other question becomes a lawyer in Gainesville, and I would say, just like you said, go with somebody you know, somebody you trust. It doesn't have to be a Gainesville attorney.
Absolutely.
Not that there aren't wonderful attorneys in Gainesville, but I always want to go with somebody I know, somebody I trust, you know?
That's the most important thing, to have trust in the person that represents you.
How do you determine, how does a jury determine, if it goes that far, damages in a case like this where it's sort of open-ended as to how much therapeutic treatment this young lady might need?
Well, it all depends on the experts. The expert would come to court and explain to the jury what his life care plan would be for that particular individual.
I see. Okay, good. So there is a way of figuring that out, but only a professional is going to be able to get this all taken care of. And again, Bruce, as tragic as the situation is, as disturbing as it is, we appreciate you giving a little bit of a ray of hope here.
Well, thanks for letting me chime in.
Absolutely. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Thank you, Todd. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Just an awful, awful situation, especially at a place I call my second home, the University of Florida and Gainesville. And I'm assuming here it could have been what they used to call Santa Fe Community College, but I'm assuming it's UF. Anyway, if you have a question you'd like to submit about the law, simple to do, just go to our website and put Bruce in the keyword search box. If you've been damaged or hurt in some way, like this young lady, then bypass what I just said and call this number, 941-743-7777. That's the Port Charlotte office of Associates and Bruce L. Scheiner, 941-743-7777. And tell them Todd sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.